Welcome to Center for Integrated Robotics Research and Development. In this video, we will be learning how to make a line following robot from our CIRRD Robotics training kit. Now, what is a line following robot? Well, a line following robot is a robot that can follow a black line all on its own, and it's seen used today in many warehouses and even in restaurants to make a delivery. So now let's take a look at what we've got inside our kit. First off, we have our circuit board. Now this circuit board was fabricated by the CIRRD research team specifically for this line following robot in order to make building it that much easier. So let's take a look at what we have on our board. First up, we have an L293D motor driver IC for interfacing with our motors. We've also got a NOT gate. We have two IR ports which are specifically for our infrared sensors in our kit. We've got two ports to connect to our motors, and here you will see this is where the battery supply is given, and this is a DC jack. Now this can be used to recharge your battery in the case that you are using rechargeable batteries in your robot. Now moving on to the remaining components, we have next in our box. Now this is the body or the chassis of our robot. As you can see, this will form the top of your robot and this will form the bottom, and this essentially provides the base on which your line following robot will be built. Moving on, we have got two wheels. These wheels are what will make our robot mobile. We've got two BO motors. Now a BO motor is a battery operated motor. This motor will spin at a speed of 60 RPM at 9 volt, and this is what we will be using to rotate our wheels. Next in our kit, we've got our power supply. This is an 8 volt 1 ampere hour battery and it's rechargeable, and this is what we will be using as the main power supply in our line following robot. Now we've got some basic components here, like for example a double sided tape. We've got black insulation tape, and here we have the main sensor of our line following robot. We've got two infrared sensors. Now what is an infrared sensor? Well, an infrared sensor module is constantly emitting infrared rays through this transparent transmitter that you see on it. Now when these infrared rays come in contact with, say, an obstacle such as my hand, those rays would reflect and then they would be detected by the detector, which is the black, and on detection it would give an output through the output pin which it has. The infrared sensor is the main sensor which we will be using which we will build our line following robot. And now coming on to the smallest components in our kit, we have a caster wheel. This gives our robot mobility in all directions. We will be fixing it somewhere near the front of our robot. We've got some holders simply to hold our parts in place. We have nuts and bolts. And lastly, we've got spacers and a metallic L clamp. We have two kinds of spacers. We have 1/4 inch spacers and we have 1 inch spacers. And that pretty much covers all the components we've got in our line following robotics kit. So let's move on to the next part.